Curious about the secrets lurking in the shadows of the Exorcist Deceiver? Get ready for a spine-chilling exploration into the haunting details, demonic mysteries, and sinister plot of this upcoming installment. From possessed souls to the battle between good and evil, we'll unearth every devilish detail. So, grab your crucifixes and join me on this supernatural journey. Few horror films have embedded themselves into pop culture history like 1973's The Exorcist. The tale of demonic possession terrified audiences and left an indelible mark on the genre. After spawning multiple sequels and adaptations, this iconic property is set to continue with a brand new trilogy. The first chapter, titled The Exorcist Deceiver, is slated for October 2024, just in time for the 50th anniversary of the original. With production underway on this next evolution of the franchise, what do we know so far about The Exorcist's highly anticipated return? Why does the Exorcist franchise still resonate decades later, warranting a new film trilogy in 2023? The Exorcist endures as one of the greatest horror films of all time because it strikes a masterful balance between visceral scares and deeper themes. On the surface, it taps into the primal human fear of demonic forces and the vulnerability of innocence against evil. The mere concept of a child becoming possessed by an evil entity terrifies me on a core level. This battle between purity and corruption resonates with a universal nature in all viewers. The Exorcist is gripped with a terror of normalcy invaded by otherworldly evil. Importantly, beyond just surface scares, The Exorcist had layers of substance and commentary on deeper themes surrounding religion and faith. The complex dramatics between Damien Karras and Lancaster Marin added weight and context to the horror. This masterful blending of dramatic heft, theological rumination, and terror crafted a film experience that gripped both intellectually and emotionally. The Exorcist resonated on multiple levels, delivering meaning layered below the horror. How will The Exorcist Deceiver connect to the original film's story and mythology? The Exorcist Deceiver has the advantage of direct narrative continuity with the revered 1973 original through the returning character of Regan MacNeil. Set in the present day, Regan is now an adult, still haunted by the demonic possession she endured as a child. Casting Leslie Odom Jr. in this iconic role provides both a sense of continuation and change, as audiences will see an older Regan still wrestling with the past. Her story thread drives home Deceiver's connection to the trauma and deliverance she experienced. Yet the writers stress that Deceiver will craft its unique mythology and tone beyond just rehashing the past. Having Regan be a mature adult allows for an evolved perspective different from her innocence as a child. References to the first film's events will drive the story, but fans shouldn't expect copied narrative beats. The newly possessed character brings fresh horrors to unfold related to Regan's journey, but distinct too. Expanding the demonic lore beyond what was established before also differentiates Deceiver in crafting a new chapter in this universe. Overall, the direct connection to Regan's story provides the bridge needed to uphold the Exorcist's legacy. But Deceiver also appears determined to expand the saga's mythology in new directions. By blending the comfort of the familiar with the thrill of the unknown, this sequel has the ingredients to simultaneously satisfy fans and capture a modern crowd. It can lovingly build upon the original's mythology while breaking ground and making the Exorcist brand more multifaceted. How have the filmmakers described their approach and goals for The Exorcist Deceiver? Director David Gordon Green, poignantly referring to Deceiver as a humanistic horror film, reveals an intent to keep character and emotion core as in the revered original. His priority in developing multi-layered protagonists indicates crafting a story driven by their depth. Producer Jason Blum echoes this agenda, stressing that resonant characters and an intimate, emotional journey come first. This philosophy aligns with the landmark 1973 film that amplified its scares through layered characters wrestling with demons, both literal and figurative. Green wants to continue the grounded, psychologically throbbing terror of The Exorcist rather than extreme shock value or gore. He has specified envisioning suspenseful, restrained horror arising organically from the characters' dilemmas. Green seeks to convey demonic evil in subtle ways via palpable realism, reflecting the human condition under duress. This shunning of gratuitous jump scares shows commitment to thoughtful horror, where tension simmers naturally from drama. Both Green and Blum have referenced aiming to capture the essence of The Exorcist's legacy with this next chapter. This means crafting a story worthy of the brand's prestige rather than exploiting surface iconography. Their statements emphasize devotion to honoring the spirit of the original's nuanced examination of good versus evil. Every creative choice seems geared towards respecting the source material by focusing on rich characters facing dire stakes. If their remarkably faithful approach manifests as promised, The Exorcist Deceiver has the potential to feel like a legitimate continuation rather than a soulless cash-in. Bringing visceral human stakes to the demonic proceedings could make Deceiver a worthy successor that stands on its own. This emphasis on grounded characters undergoing harrowing development suggests the formula that made the first film so profound remains intact for this new saga. The Exorcist's legacy deserves such care to be honored, and these filmmakers appear wholly committed to doing so with Deceiver. What has the early footage and teaser trailer revealed about the tone and story of The Exorcist Deceiver? Initial behind-the-scenes footage shows the film incorporating rural wilderness settings reminiscent of the first's isolated vibes. We also see Leslie Odom Jr.'s older Regan looking tormented, hinting at trauma from his experience. The brief teaser trailer focuses on tense moments that build atmosphere: dark hallways, eerie chanting, candles being lit. Regan asks, "Are you a family man?" implying the demon has returned to strike a new target. There are also shots of a creepy, contorted figure that appears to be a possessed new host. Overall, the footage establishes an ominous, bleak tone, suggesting this demon's resurgence will wreak psychological havoc. Nightmarish imagery like swarms of locusts confirms the trailer's warning that the darkest fear is what's inside you. The eerie style echoes the original, while the rural setting harkens to its isolated terror. Odom Jr.'s haunted presence ties back to Regan's suffering. These initial looks indicate Deceiver aims to faithfully extend The Exorcist's sense of character-driven horror. The Exorcist Deceiver has the monumental task of continuing one of the most revered horror tales in a new cinematic age, but early signs point to a respectful approach, leery of exploiting the material simply for cheap scares. The legacy of the original 1973 film hangs heavy, and living up to that benchmark won't be easy. Yet the central presence of Leslie Odom Jr.'s older Regan helps organically bridge the past with this next chilling chapter. If the grounded tone and restraint promised by the filmmakers manifest, The Exorcist may find itself exorcised of the curse of diminished sequels and remakes. This franchise deserves better, and The Exorcist Deceiver appears determined to convert skeptics with an emotionally resonant, psychologically terrifying new installment. As we conclude our journey into the sinister depths of The Exorcist Deceiver, we hope you've enjoyed the sneak peek into the demonic mysteries that await. If you're as thrilled about the upcoming horror installment as we are, make sure to hit that like button below and subscribe for more bone-chilling updates on all things horror. Your support keeps the dark forces at bay, and we appreciate every one of you. Share your thoughts on The Exorcist Deceiver in the comments, and stay tuned for more terrifying tales. Until next time, stay brave.